So the first things first, one thing that I want to point out is that we have system requirements, because we get a lot of questions about, hey, what device can we use to set up our OT-based discovery and our OT-based inventory? You can check that out in our system requirements for OT-based discovery, for example. Here we're just taking like a simple off-the-shelf computer that has pretty much like enough memory, hard drive space, and the processing power needed. And these devices can start at like under $100 up to however powerful you guys need it to be. All right. So that's the OT-based discovery system requirements. And when it comes to OT-based inventory, it's pretty much around the same hardware specifications. We also have the architecture, because we know that when you're reading a quick start guide, time is of the essence and you want to get these things up and running as fast as possible. So we've laid out the architecture structure for both discovery, OT-based discovery, and OT-based inventory, which you guys can see here, also included in the onboarding program. Mm-hmm. Next up, we also have step-by-step instructions. And if you notice right here, we have arrows. Yeah, so that way you can't mess this up, because you're being guided in the direction that we want you to get your system up and running as fast as possible. All right, let's take a look at that. So these are some examples of our step-by-step guide. All right. Next up, we have educational concepts. A lot of the terms in our platform, you guys have to pretty much wrap your head around. And so we made it easy for you guys to wrap your head around some of these concepts that you might encounter on our system. One of the concepts that we find people have a hard time wrapping their head around is the idea of location. What is a location in OT-based inventory? Let me just pull that up. The location namespace. A lot of, because we know that you guys are face down into your work and you're just like, oh, okay, location. You're talking about this water purification thing, or HMI network. And no, that's not the case in OT-based inventory. It's more like physical locations. And when it comes to physical locations, we have our hierarchy, where it's like top down, and it pretty much lays out all your physical locations dealing with your company. So for example, Miami, Florida, sounds like a location, right? So that's easy for you and your plant workers to realize where things are located. So for example, we can dig deeper. Miami, Florida, building A, control room. These are examples of locations. And to further explain some of these concepts, we've added video, because when your time is of the essence, who wants to read, essentially? So we've added videos that you guys can play and pretty much grab those concepts. The videos are around 2 minutes or so, and it explains everything on the same topic of what you're currently looking at. And then once you're done looking at the videos, at the end of each chapter, we have chapter achievements. The chapter achievements show you what you should have learned when you're going through the guide. All right. Mm-hmm. So for example, here's a chapter achievement for the location. So at the end of this chapter, you should be able to well define a location namespace, and you should have already added your location IDs inside of OT-based discovery and OT-based inventory. All right. And next up, the structure of the program is very intuitive. It's numbered, so you just go through each step and all the way until you get to the end. And I swear it's just that easy. Some of these topics I like to go over. So we have exporting discovery data to OTbase. We cover that, and how to get your data from OTbase discovery, which is our automatic discovery, into your central database, which we call OTbase inventory. Next up, we have access control. Who are we going to allow to dig through this data? Who in our organization can see sensitive data or just standard data that the plant workers or whoever uses this platform will be able to access? So we go over creating local user accounts, enabling 2 factors because you want to lock it down. And also, next up, another thing that is very important, backup and restore. How do you recover or back up your data so that if any worst case scenario happens, you can easily bring it back up? Next up, data enrichment. Another thing about the data enrichment is that OTbase allows you to contextualize your data. So if you have data laying in Excel spreadsheets, you can import all of that information into OTbase inventory. So that way, the users of OTbase inventory will be able to pretty much understand the data better, especially when you're enriching your data. And then when it's all said and done, you can invite your friends with our user onboarding. So you can create your user accounts, set the permissions, and also customize OTbase so that it suits your needs. And we're very flexible when it comes to customizations, especially when digging through your own data. All right, and that's pretty much it for our onboarding program. It's very simple, intuitive, and we wanted it to be as easy as possible for you guys to get up and running in no time, because we know that time is of the essence. All right, any questions? Yes.
Is this documentation on the website for anyone too?
Yes, it's openly available. So whether you are just looking through, seeing how things work, you'll eventually bump into this because it's the first one on the page for the documentation. Can't miss it. You can't miss it. So if you wanted to get up and running as quick as possible, there it is, the onboarding program for you.
And how long does it take a typical customer to bring some data in and be considered through that onboarding process?
Well, it usually takes, the fastest I've seen was a week.
Okay.
Because some people, they have the data just laying around, but they can't figure out what to do with it. And when we introduce them to the OTbase inventory, well, the OTbase system as a whole, they're able to just grab their Excel files and straight dump it into our system and everything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other questions?
I don't know, that one felt like a plant.
What was that?
That one felt like a plant.
A plant? A plant?
That stinks that it does. I was actually genuinely curious.
Sorry.
Genuine questions only. All right, so yeah, that's the OTbase onboarding program, and yeah. That's it.